So a few days have passed after the conclusion of the Cancun summit, and what are the conclusions that the Greens can take out of that? I think that we can be happy or relatively satisfied for three issues and really unhappy for two of them. The first issue that we can be relatively satisfied for is that the negotiations really didn't break down. And this was a danger after the big blow in Copenhagen, and I think that in Cancun it was possible to measure how deep the divisions between the parties, between the countries were, and how difficult it was in the last year to recover this kind of trust. But trust is not enough. We also need results. We did have results on some issues, like for example the agreement on a financial mechanism for the reduction of emission of forest and deforestation, which by itself, only itself, is responsible for about 20% of global CO2 emissions. And this is of course good, even if there is no agreement really on how concretely to do it. And the concreteness of the agreements is certainly the weakest point of Cancun. Second element which is positive is the fact that the parties agreed that the agreement in Cancun on the money, basically on the fast track and the long-term financial support for adaptation and mitigation, will be there. And this is something that concerns above all developed countries and the European Union. And here the European Union did play a positive role, even if only a part of the first tranche of the fast track, 30 billion, are available to be used, and it is not at all clear whether or not this will be additional money or this will be a sort of reshifting of existing development aid money. Third question is the fact that China and the US accept that there must be a sort of control on the cuts of emissions that they will do, above all China and India will do in the next few years. This was also an element that really blocked in Copenhagen and that saw some progress, although not final or not total, in Cancun. What are the issues that are certainly not satisfactory? First, there is not an agreement on the future of the Kyoto Protocol, on the so-called second term commitment period, even if there is some kind of agreement that it will go on, but no final decision has been reached, and we will have to wait for Durban to find out whether Kyoto and its commitments and its raised commitment will survive to itself or not. Second element, which is certainly not very positive, is the fact that there is no clarity at all on which will be the form that the future agreement on the future global agreement on climate change will take. Will it be a new treaty? Will it not be a new treaty? For the moment, the fog is very, very thick. So our task for the next year is very clear. From here to Durban, we have to take stock of what has been achieved, make sure that it is really implemented, that it becomes real, and make sure also that the two questions outstanding, the future of the Kyoto Protocol and the final legal binding agreement on how to deal with climate change in the next decades, is there. We have for that, of course, work at the level of the European Union above all, because the European Union did play a much more positive role this year than last year in Copenhagen, but it is still very hesitant both on the financial question, on the reduction of the emissions to 30%. We also have to make sure that the mobilization, the information of public opinion are there, because Durban probably will not be the last chance, but certainly one of the last chances in order to prevent the planet to become too hot.